I want to see what kind of world do I want to leave to my children's children. Now is the time to make up my mind. What kind of world is this gonna be? What kind of world will be my legacy to the generations? For all humankind, it's time to decide what kind of world. Will it be peaceful? Well, am I? Will it be joyful and kind? Will it be all those things a child so easily describes? Oh yeah. Will everybody have enough? Will we speak in the language of love? Somehow I'm suspecting it's all up to what you and I decide. What kind of world do we want to have? When will we be ready to start giving back to this precious place? To every young face, to every boy and girl, what kind of world? Will it be peaceful? Well, am I? Will it be joyful and kind? Will it be all those things a child so easily describes? Oh yeah. Will everybody have enough? Will we speak in the language of love? Somehow I'm suspecting it's all up to what you and I decide. What kind of world do we want to have? When will we be ready to start giving back to this precious place? To every young face, tell every boy and girl, what kind of world? What kind of world? Oh, oh, do 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 do.
Good morning and welcome, Nick. Thank you so much for that wonderful song, setting the mood for us. Welcome today. This is the Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Community Church on Shaver Road in Portage. And I'm Reverend G, and I'm just delighted that you chose to spend this hour or less anymore with us. And today we are going to talk about inspiration. And that's precisely how I find this movement, this Unitarian Universalist movement, inspiring. Inspiring always to do better, to make our society just a little bit more fair, make it so it works for more of us, for more of the time. Every social justice struggle has at the forefront some Unitarian Universalist. It's just the way of it. It is how we approach life. It is how we choose to spend our energies, to apply ourselves to life as we know it. So welcome. Welcome to this community that has no creeds, no dogmas. Instead, we have a few principles that we have found true, and most of us adhere to them. And these principles are a living document New ones are still considered. Old ones are reconsidered. For we are unafraid to change our minds and our beliefs in the evidence of new truths, in the presence of new evidence. So also Unitarian Universalists on Sunday mornings, when they come together, join in this tradition of lighting the chalice. The chalice, which we chose as the symbol of our faith. It symbolizes that truth-seeking nature of ours, and the light symbolizes the truth itself. So we light the chalice at the beginning of the service, which I am doing right now. And will you please say the words with me? In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. And now I invite you to join me for a time of centering, just a short meditation, to bring our attention to this here and now, this moment, to peel away from the outside world and settle into our bodies kindly, gently. Just notice the breath. Notice the mind that still wants to race in a million different directions. Just notice without judgment. Be in this space without any expectation. Do not expect to become wiser, more collected. Do not expect a quiet mind. Simply allow yourself to be. And often, the gift of allowing is being more centered, more quiet. It allows for that still small voice to surface, inform our feelings, our actions, our words, our life experience. And we can be only grateful that at any moment in time, we can choose to step aside and just drop into ourselves, the depth of our being, the width of our being. And from that space, we let life unfold with ease, kindness, and gentleness. And for that, together we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as you are ready, I invite you to gently open your eyes. Return your attention to the screen, or your knitting, whatever you may be doing. For attending church in your living room, bedroom, kitchen, allows you freedoms that you would never grant to yourself while sitting in church. So come back, rejoin, and pay attention as it is right for you. So thank you and welcome. And if you are only joining us in now, I'm Reverend G, minister at the Unitarian Universalist Community Church. Our building is located on Shaver Road in Portage, and it's just past Myers, past Oakland Drive, and then there's an apartment complex, and past that on the left-hand side is our sweet little building, wondering when on earth are we going to return to her, to occupy her, and make the joyful noises we used to in there. And in the meantime, we have some time to improve on the curb appeal, improve on some inside appeal that has long been asking, begging for our attention. So welcome, welcome, welcome. The topic for today is inspiration. If you have been paying attention and checking in with us, then you already know that for our church year, we picked the overarching theme of revolution. A change must come. We have recognized that, and there is this yearning in our collective consciousness for meaningful, impactful, insightful, and lasting change. Change that stays in touch with reality, that honors diversity, that cares about inclusivity. Change that shapes life in a way that it creates possibilities for us human beings, where quarterly profit is not the bottom line, but it is social justice, racial justice, gender justice. Justice is at the center of it all. Justice is the driving force. Justice with compassion, with love, with kindness, care, empathy, wisdom, that. So that is our overarching theme. And the reason that theme could even come about, because when we were planning our year, we came together, a group of us, and as we were together, inspiration came. And out of that inspiration, the theme emerged. And then sub-themes and subtopics, and then ideas of how to develop and how to approach this direction that we chose for ourselves. So today, I wish to speak on inspiration. And I must tell you that I initially thought that, oh, this will be piece of cake to develop this topic. After all my life, I have been seeking inspiration. All my life, I have been looking for people who inspire me. I have been choosing to spend time in the presence of people who inspire me, causes that are inspired. And it'll be easy for me to speak on it. And it was not, and it isn't. In fact, preparing for this topic, what I have found is the stumbling blocks that stand in the way of inspiration. And two of the major ones are, who do you think, or who do I think I am? And why do I think I even have the right to come in front of you and speak on something as big and as important as inspiration? Inspiration is the one thing that allows us to see outside the box, that allows us to see a possibility that the moment before wasn't available to us. And then once the possibility is visible to us, then this inspiration drives us to find a way to that possibility. Without inspiration, it is very hard to create a future that is different from the present. In fact, I would argue that is impossible. But there are stumbling blocks in the way. And then as I was preparing for this talk, I thought, well, okay, let's see, how do I get inspired? Where do I go for inspiration? And then I realized that there are ways that I look for inspiration, and sometimes inspiration comes from places that I did not expect at all. The other day, my next door neighbor, there we have a very narrow little patch of grass that butt up against each other. So the neighbor's grass and our grass, and it's a narrow little section. And the neighbor was out there because this section had become overgrown with crabgrass. And before, I never used to care about grass. Grass is grass, green is green, who cares? But the neighbor was out there on his all fours, and picking all this crabgrass. And I thought, well, if he is doing that and I don't do my bit, then in no time my crabgrass will overtake his lawn again, and then his work will be in vain. So I thought, well, maybe I should care about crabgrass too. And I got down on my fours, and I took my little, it's a little, I don't know, two-pronged hoe, and I started picking. So I would take the roots of the crabgrass up as well in hopes of eliminating it for good. And as I'm working there and the sun is hitting me and I'm sweating, and I realize, oh, this is significantly harder than I expected it to be. And it's not just harder, but it takes significantly longer than I expected it to take. And the one thing I don't have nowadays is time. I feel like I'm constantly stressed for time, and I do nothing but go, 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 rush, rush, rush. And now here I am pulling crabgrass, and that was not even on my list, let alone be the last thing on my list. And then I thought, actually, this is much like life. There are unwanted parts in me. And if I want them gone, I have to definitely make the time to work on myself. And it turns out that it's always a little bit harder to get rid of the unwanted stuff and replace it with the wanted stuff. And I do have to go for the roots of it. And it's painful. And it's messy. And it takes longer. And it's the last thing I want to do. But if I want the results, I must do it. And then it's not just true for my own life, but it's true for society as well. It's so much easier not to look at crabgrass. It's so much easier not to look at systemic racism, systemic oppression, our very dark history with slavery, the way we treated Native Americans, our colonialism. It's so much easier not to look at it, but it's damn crabgrass, people. And if you want results, if you want beauty, we've got to look at it, and it's messy. And it takes all of us. It's like, it's not enough for me to pull the crabgrass. You gotta do it too. Otherwise, that systemic part remains. It's the last thing we want to do, because who on earth wants to admit and face that we're implicit? And then, by golly, there goes that even our silence makes us implicit. Like it's not okay. Like not doing it, thinking that if the others do it will be enough. It's not enough. You and I both have to be part of this. And until we are, this shall stay. This shall be part of our reality. And the reality is that it's not impacting all of us the same way. Some are impacted daily, and some of us when we choose to think about it, when we choose to care about it. But it's impacting us anyway, because we live in a world filled with crabgrass, when we could have beautiful lawns or beautiful gardens that bees can come and thrive. Oh my goodness, bees, there's the other thing. That's the other thing we need to take care of. So I get inspired in many ways by pulling weeds, by tending to the roots. It's long been my philosophy that life is root to fruit. It's long been my philosophy that you have to take care of the root and fruit will happen anyway. And then I'm just reminded that it's ongoing. Like I can't just do it once and think, done, squared away, good to go for the rest of my life. I get to begin again. I get to begin again. I think if I were to title my talk today or now, I'd call it Begin Again, and we begin again. Then I thought about my life, the dreams I had, the hopes I had, the path that I thought was going to be mine. And I laugh about it now. Very little of my life looks the way I thought it would. Very few of the people are in my life who I thought would be forever in my life. A lot of the people are in my life I never would have dreamed of, and there they are. How wonderful, what a blessing, what a gift. So that's again another thing, that we make plans, we're inspired to create a path in our minds, and then to understand that life is about beginning again. That when things don't work out, and if you've lived long enough, things haven't worked out for you either. Some things have worked out, thank God for that. Some things haven't worked out, and thank God for that. And some things just got us down. And then the people who inspire me are the ones who get up and begin again. I have some go-tos. One of them is Maya Angelou. At age 7, she was raped by a person who was very well known by his family, close. She ended up in the hospital. She learned that the man who raped her was found dead. And according to the police report, he was kicked to death. She was 7. It was a lot for her to process. She thought that her words killed him because she spoke his name. So she stopped talking. And for 5 years, she didn't say a single word. Maya Angelou. But she read. She read everything in the black school library. Then she read everything she could get her hands on at the white school library. She read everything at the library. She memorized Shakespeare. She never heard it spoken before. She memorized it. She memorized a lot of Shakespeare's sonnets and writings. She memorized a lot of poems. And then, 5 years later, when she decided to speak, she had a lot to say. And she had varied ways to say it. And she never stopped talking. She inspires me. She inspires me because she began again and again and again. She lived life, a Black woman in America, raped at age 7, and she found inside the inner wisdom and strength to begin again. I'm inspired by Desmond Tutu, who believed in forgiveness and the power of it, so much so that was able to take a whole country and lead them down that path and made it very real. He created something that, as far as we know, has never been done before. He sat down with perpetrator and victim and engaged difficult conversations so the nation collectively could heal and that there may be another path for the future. One that is informed by forgiveness. One where energies are freed up for creativity, for beginning again. So this path may be less violent, more kind, more compassionate, more whole. I'm inspired by people like Brené Brown, who studies shame, vulnerability, forgiveness. And who is so human in her own struggles, who admits that this is the last thing she wants to do, and she realizes that she must, if she wants to be healthy, if she wants to be the kind of leader that she knows she needs to be, then the hard work must be done. The difficult conversations have to be engaged. The self-work has to be done, because as within, so without. For the largest part of our human history, the most important leadership skill had to be muscle, had to be tenacity, had to be quick decision making in the presence of danger. When we fought the saber-toothed tiger. But then there came the cognitive revolution. And then the most important characteristics the leader had to embody was the mind. Think with the mind. And with that mind, we then created artificial intelligence, which is replacing the need for the high functioning of our own minds. And I believe the most important characteristics a leader today has to tap into are the heart and the soul. Because artificial intelligence is going to take care of the mind, but it cannot of the heart and the soul. And so I do believe that a time of healing is knocking on our doors, because hearts are opening, because we understand the importance of vulnerability. We understand the importance of compassion and empathy, and perhaps even more so today when we've seen the opposite. We've seen what lack of empathy and compassion and honesty and integrity can and will create and wreak havoc in the lives of many, driving us crazy. Enough of that already. So have you registered to vote? It's coming up. It's very near. Have you registered to vote? If you intend to vote by mail, please do it soon. We know that the postal office is being attacked. So if you choose to vote by mail, please make sure that your vote gets in and gets counted. Ask your neighbor, ask people you like, ask people you don't like. Have you registered to vote? Please do it. I can help you. Tell them. Be willing to help. Vote, vote, vote. That is inspired living. When we no longer complain about our situations, but choose to do something about it. So I am inspired by people who are willing to make their contribution larger than their criticism. I'm going to repeat this. I am inspired by people who are willing to make their contribution larger than their criticism. And that's a good lesson for me. How have I contributed, and how do I contribute towards healing, towards reconciliation, towards a healthy, well-balanced future that is filled with compassion, empathy, heart, kindness, integrity, honesty. And then when we fail at it, we begin again. And God knows we live in times when beginning again is upon us. So how are you doing in the midst of this pandemic? How are you beginning again? You at home with your children struggling with online school, making the decision, should I send them in person? Should I opt for that? Or should I opt for full online version? Or what about my job? I have to also balance that. I have a job to do. And then as if that wasn't enough, everything else is boiling in this country. Such difficult conversations are being engaged, and just at the time when it feels like there's no energy left, we begin again. We begin again. Because we are inspired. Not motivated, but inspired. The difference between motivation and inspiration is significant in my view. And the best explanation I ever heard was many years ago, and I don't know who I heard it from or maybe read it, I don't remember. But the way I understand it now is motivation is when you grab hold of an idea and you work it and you work it and you work it. And inspiration is when an idea gets hold of you and it works you, and you have no choice but say yes. And then you're just fueled with that energy of beginning again. And even though it didn't work out this way, I'm gonna try it that way, and that way, and that way, and that way, till I find the way, just like Edison did with the light bulb. He found first all the ways it wouldn't work, until he found the way it did. When an idea grabs a hold of us and it works us. And I think the idea of social justice grabbed a hold of us. And it's working us. And so we begin again. And we put our lives on the line, our bodies on the line. We give our values voice and feet and whatever it takes. So we may be the people who contribute more to life in a positive way than we contribute criticism. So we may be the constructive ones, the inspired ones who can also inspire. So we begin again. And so it is. Thank you. And as we begin again and again, I invite you to join us always and in all ways. And one of the ways is your good, hard-earned money. Although we do church in the Holy Living Room anymore, or living rooms anymore, that building is still there, the staff is still here, our expenses are quite the same. So we invite you to join us, support us, so our message can be carried long and far, so our influence may have a chance, so our principles may have a voice and feet and whatever it takes. So thank you for supporting us. And Nick, take it away.
We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones, we are the ones, we are. I've been feeling like I can't make a difference. I'm feeling like there's ain't no use. Feeling tired and a little unconscious, coming up with every kind of excuse till I realize it's not all up to me. When we join together, we shape our destiny to see the world where we are living as one. It can be, it shall be, it will be done. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones, we are. We are the ones, we are. I am the one that we've been waiting for. I am the one who will make a difference. I am the one who will change the world. I am the one, I am. And we are the ones, we are. We are the ones, we are. We are. We are. We are.
Thank you, Nick. And while I'm at it, thanking you, allow me to also thank Steve and Pat and Miriam. It takes so much actually to put together one of these online services. And I'm grateful to every single one of you. You make it seem smooth. You certainly make it possible. And I'm just absolutely in gratitude to every single one of you. So there is this time where we extinguish the chalice, this light that symbolizes truth. And while we do that, we know that once we've been touched by this truth, we are also changed. And we're just a little bit different than we were before. And always just a little bit more different, better, deeper, more concerned, readier. Just more willing to begin again. So would you please say these words with me as we extinguish the chalice? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Inside of you, there is a gift. Inside of you, there is a light. Bring it forth. Let it thrive. For this gift and this light, if kept in the dark, is not benign. Let it forth. For without this gift, without your contribution, we are all less. You are the light we've been waiting for. And so it is. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful, wonderful, kind, compassionate, pleasant week. See you again.